Alexis, good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Welcome to the podcast.
This has been long awaited.
We've tinkered so much with this.
We have beef with Google Meet now, so that's new.
Now people need to see the work that went into this. So, Andor. I have not asked you. It was very hard not to.
We're back.
And I wanted to get in the mood last night, so I watched Rogue One. So, now we're in the mood.
I'm so excited. I was sad that Andor was over, because it's like, this is done. Oh my goodness, we get more Andor, because I haven't watched Rogue One in years, so it's so exciting.
Yeah, but it's like different, you know? It just feels, the series had its own glory to it.
Where do we even start?
Yeah, I don't even know, like, where do we start? So I guess we could just go, like, episode by episode.
Yeah, we could just be completely random, or we could try to...
I don't know why Luthen's on the cover now, like, you know.
Oh, yeah. I literally wore my Star Wars shirt, and you can't even see it.
Oh, that's so sad.
Just so you guys know.
I feel like a little pin.
They'll
See,
know.
everybody, Alexis is in uniform as well. Alright, episode number 10, Make It Stop. That was an interesting episode.
Oh yeah, that was like definitely the Kleya and Luthen episode.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, obviously, but...
Like, what do we think of him? He's an interesting sort of guy, but like...
Anybody knows what they...
now.
I know, but I don't think anybody ever knows, like, exactly how they feel about Luthen. Like, even Kleya, she's like...
Yeah,
like,
he's got kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
He's an interesting fella. I think he's like the nice middle ground between like Saul Guerrera and the rebels.
Yes.
You know, he's kind of like a loner, you know, has some of Saw-ism to him. He does care more than Saw does.
He does.
You know, he's not insane. There's that.
He has some, like, what do you call it? Sophistication.
yeah, sophistication. He's sophisticated. More mentally stable. Yeah.
But probably not, because...
Maybe not.
It's kind of just annoying how Vale, like, and, like, some of the other senators didn't like Luthen, and it's like... Give him a little love.
You know what? It's weird. I was waiting to cry the whole time because I was like, something sad is gonna happen and I'm gonna start crying, right? Then they start going off about Luthen. I'm like, why am I starting to cry? Like, this isn't the right part to cry. And then Andor's like, you know, like this and that and this and that. I was like, I really miss Luthen. Yes, he did do a lot of things, but he like sacrificed so much for this.
Yeah, his whole life,
his
his whole life's purpose was just like the rebellion, and he's a cool guy too. You know, he's like cool.
Yeah,
he's good.
Luthen deserves to be honored, definitely.
Yeah, I think we both inhaled every second of Andor.
Yes.
Okay, the Ghorman massacre episode, that was episode 8, and then episode 9, Mon Mothma escaping the Senate. After those episodes, I just stared. Like, usually
it's just
or whatever.
Stare into the abyss, you know?
No, but while I was staring, I realized, I just thought, oh, Tony Gilroy. But then I realized there's a John Gilroy and, like, a whatever his name is, Gilroy, and I didn't realize it's this whole trio of brothers working on this show.
You know what was really funny though? I was cleaning over there and I was looking at my Clone Wars poster and it says one of the co-writers, don't get your hopes up, but his name Henry Gilroy on Clone Wars. And they're not related.
Oh.
But I'm like, what are the odds of two writers that are both end with Gilroy end up in Star Wars? That's a little ironic. You know, it's so cool that they work on it together. It's just cool to see a show that Dave and John were not involved in at all that is like pure masterpiece.
Mm-hmm. And just pure Star Wars. Like, we're not losing hope. For a little bit, it felt like Star Wars was kind of getting watered down, but this is pure Star Wars.
Yeah. For anybody who's watching it, because I have to address the audience once in a while.
Oh,
Me and Alexis are pure optimists when it comes to Star Wars, but, like, watered down is a good way to describe it. We're not like, Star Wars is dead, rest in peace, you know, sort of thing.
I'm not trying to call anybody out, but I tried to convince myself that The Acolyte was good and that I liked it, but...
I know you did. I know you did, because, like...
I tried really hard.
I remember that video you made, you were like, yeah, like, the outfits were good. You kept the outfits.
I did like the outfits, though.
She doesn't know what to say about the rest. Like, there's something, like, I could see how hard we are avoiding everything else about that show.
But, like, Andor, the outfits are amazing, and it has everything else. Ugh.
Personally, though, I think Dave and John are somewhere watching it being like, oh, shoot, this guy. Oh, man, we gotta up it up on Mando and all of our shows, because this is, like,
Tony has earned his place up there with...
That's what I told my parents. I'm like, he has earned his place among the greats, among the goats.
There's just so much to talk about Andor. I want
Yeah.
to talk about the music though. Like, I love the music, and I love like Niamos song. That's where it first played or whatever, I think.
It's in the metal soundtrack that will be played at every birthday party that I ever have, if I do ever.
I
have
know.
a
We
birthday party,
seriously...
and my funeral.
Totally. We seriously need to throw like a dance party and just...
No, Star Wars Celebration, we're gonna do a meetup. Getting everybody together. We'll dance hysterically.
You're all invited. Come on.
Exactly. But Andor's just, I mean, what's a word to describe that show? There's so much. Like, what did they not do?
No, yeah.
Is what
I
I'm
feel like
like-
it's just like a word blank. No word.
It's
No
just
word.
its own word, Andor. Andor, and the definition fits inside of it.
I'm a little bit confused. Partagaz, I think that's his name. The main ISB guy.
Oh, yeah.
We left off, and that other guy who like has a bald spot like came in.
Yes.
He was like talking something about a rumor, or Partagaz was like, I need a moment to collect my thoughts. And then he pulled out a
Yeah,
gun. What was
no.
going on there?
I was explaining that to my mom, actually, because she didn't get it either. So he had just been playing that rebel message that was saying about the Empire and all the bad things it's done, right? That's why he kind of asks that guy, like, have you listened to it? And the guy's like, oh, you know, bits and pieces here and there. And then he's like, I need a moment, right? So it actually sunk in. And he's like, I have been on the wrong side this entire time. And he killed himself.
I was thinking, but I was like, why would he do that? I like thought maybe like he was in trouble. I don't know, something like that. Like he was getting blamed for something, but wow.
It's just like out, you know?
Wow.
At least he came to that conclusion in the end. You know, Detra's in prison. I don't think she's regretting any of what she did.
But I think she's probably come to the conclusion that they're bad too.
She's like, everything I did to end up in the worst prison.
Yep.
Hopefully she can swim.
Oh, yeah. Not like that other dude. That was, yeah.
Oh, dude. Everything about those episodes, I feel like they weren't as full. Like, the ending wasn't as eventful as the other episodes. Because it has to, like, lead into Rogue One.
Yeah, but it did well
I
doing
felt
that.
like they were just so, like, crazy. Okay, can we talk about Bail Organa's recasting? We want to talk about that? Your thoughts?
I don't have too many thoughts. I don't know.
Ma'am,
I mean,
when it's Bail Organa, you gotta have thoughts.
I mean, he was like good, and he like looked pretty similar. I don't know. It's kind of creepy when they do like CGI de-aging. So I don't know. You know, do you want creepy?
Yeah.
And also they said like he couldn't even come do it, so like he wasn't available. I think
It's interesting, you know, because we're used to seeing him a certain way in the prequels, and even in Rogue One, it was the OG. But I feel like the new one almost looks a little bit more like the animated version, like Clone Wars Bail. Are you sensing that?
Okay, yeah.
Like, there's some, essence to it. I mean, I think he did okay. Like, I love Bail. He's just the best guy. You know, he didn't deserve to die. Anything Bail.
I was like, wait, he died, and then I remembered Alderaan.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Anyway, off the topic of Bail, because that's too heartbreaking. Mon Mothma got her pixie cut, which was nice, I guess.
Once you're on Yavin, I don't think you have like hairdressers anymore, so.
Very true, very true. Yeah, it was kind of nice to see that not everybody died at the end. You know, like a couple of Andor's friends are still there.
But it was almost even more sad because he's just like leaving, and it's like, he didn't say goodbye to Wilman, did he? I don't know.
I don't think he did. Oh no. Well,
But
then
yeah.
when they come back to Yavin 4, remember they go, they pick up Jin, and then they come back.
Because she had like the meeting with all the senators and whatever leaders, people there.
So in our minds, he said bye to him there.
Yes, okay, that's good.
I'm at peace.
Yeah. The ending was kind of fun, like, with the score playing. I don't know, it was a little bit, like, interesting. It felt very different. It felt, like, kind of slow and different than what the whole show had been. Like, Andor walking out, and then, like...
It was a bit of a slower ending, but I started, like, crying because of the music they played at the very, very end. They did the one note thing that they do at the end of Clone Wars. You know how they just played those like three piano notes? Yeah, they did that at that very last part of Andor. I was like, oh no, it's Clone Wars all over again, right?
Yeah, they're good at that. Doing that, yeah.
I think we gotta talk about Mr. Andor Jr.
Oh, what's he gonna get up to? I don't know.
There is hope for more Andor. That was cute though. That was really
That was
cute.
cute. It was sweet.
It was sweet. It was a sweet ending. And then the fact that she didn't die too, because I didn't want her to die.
Yeah, because it would have made sense to just like, oh, she's not like with him anymore.
That's
Yeah,
cute.
I think it was sweet, and it's like there's still hope trying to be.
Yeah, because, you know, they obviously all these shows got to end in some sort of hopeful way, you know? But even at the end of Clone Wars, as utterly depressing as that last episode is, you still see the end where Vader takes her lightsaber, you know, and that reminds you that the Anakin's still in there, you know? So even, they always try to end it, like, on a hopeful note, I feel like. And I think if Andor just went off, and you know what's gonna happen, right? It would have just been, like, too sad. This one's just, like, a small bit, at the end, and then done.
It's kind of like
It's a nice little
hopefully
closing.
sad. I was trying to even remember, how did this series start? Because, like, you remember the end, but, like, how did we start off?
Yeah,
Where
I
were
haven't
we?
seen season 1 in forever. Like, I did not rewatch it before I started season 2.
When did Andor first appear in season 1? I remember because he shot those two people, like, those two guys in the rain.
Okay, yeah, on the stormy planet. And then that's when Syril starts his thing with Andor. Oh yeah, with his blue suit, remember?
Yeah.
Oh.
Syril, in season 1, I did not want to see him. I was like, get off, you're just wasting screen time. Like, what are you doing?
Oh, come on. It's Syril.
Cyril. And then, like, in season 2, he got better.
He got better, but come on, Alexis. His mom already hates him. He doesn't need any more complaining.
I'm sorry, Cyril. Forget anything I ever said to you. You're a great character.
You're a great character. He's a good little side story sort of thing. I like those characters that are so knee-deep in the whole story, and yet they're so oblivious to what's going on. Cyril was, yeah.
It's a fun,
I definitely liked him more in
perspective.
season 2.
Him laying on the bed. So done. I just wanted to give him a hug.
Remember the cereal? He had the blue milk, and he was just like,
And then he picks it up, and he's like,
oh, you gotta feel so bad for him. That's heartbreaking.
in a bad place. He's like,
Yeah.
staring at his cereal.
He had his little action figures. Do you remember that?
His poor mom, after Ghorman, crying with her friends.
She was like so cute.
I know,
And
she kind of cracked me up.
when he gave her the spider little thing, she's like, oh, maybe I'll name it Cyril because it's like, you know, dumb. Oh.
No. Krennic. I thought we were done with Krennic after the party, which was like so fun to have him there. I loved the party. They were together and they were like, yeah, we should have just killed Krennic.
I was going insane on the floor. Like, are you kidding me? This is the last thing we needed right now. The very last thing.
That was fun. It was intense, but it was also like really funny. Yeah, and Krennic is just so fun. I never really liked him before, but now just seeing him in this series.
He was a good guy. I feel like in Rogue One, he seemed a little differently in Rogue One because he's all like, oh, they're not giving me the credit I deserve. And then he's like telling Vader, so am I gonna get like the credit I deserve? That's all he's focused on, I guess. But then in Andor, it gets expanded, his whole character. It's just crazy. And then the whole thing with like him and Dedra. Oh my gosh.
When his finger like came down in her head, Dedra, I was like, what have you done?
You know you're dead, right?
Yeah.
You know you're so very dead right now.
Somebody commented and said I looked like Dedra.
You could.
I just have to have like the bun. Be like,
Oh, so mad. I'll give it to the lady. She knows how to keep a very like.
I could not keep that face. It's so like, I don't even know how to.
Her character was so crazy too, you know, even the fact that she orchestrated the whole Ghorman massacre. And you see at the end, she's not even in the least bit guilty of what she did. She still doesn't think it was wrong. Like, she's sad that Cyril died, but still she doesn't think it was wrong. And even just to have a character that has no guilt, no shame whatsoever, and does all the bad that they want. No regrets whatsoever. You know, even Andor, like, he's done some things, you know, that weren't the best, but you see that he does feel a little guilty, does regret it. That kind of shows, like, the moral aspect to Andor, but with Dedra, it's like, you did all that and you're not feeling anything?
I think that she felt like pressure on herself to do it perfectly. She had pressure on her because she like had to get it done. She just had to do it good.
Yeah, she didn't feel bad for the people are being thrown across the plaza by the K2SO guys.
I always think this, if I saw that coming for me, I'm not gonna pretend to be alive. I'm gonna pretend to be dead.
Oh my gosh, that's what we were thinking. All of us were screaming at the TV like, play dead, play dead, just drop.
I don't know, maybe they have like life detector. I don't know.
It's weird to think what would you do in that moment too, because it's like you've never been in that moment. Who knows, you could be saying this right now, but like if that moment ever does happen, who knows? We could just end up running.
They probably have like the rebel in them. Maybe we don't have as much, and they're like, we need to keep fighting. Yeah, we'll die fighting these bastards or whatever. That's what he says.
Yeah. I don't know if I'd rather die fighting or hide so that I can fight another day.
Yeah, hide so you can fight more.
Nice food for thought. Saw was in there.
We know why he has his little breathing thing now, because he just takes in those rhino fumes.
Yeah. That guy is interesting.
Much
He's
about.
his own thing. He's his own topic. He's his
Yeah,
own
he is.
word. Mon Mothma's escape. Now, how awesome was that?
Probably my favorite episode.
Oh yeah.
And
Definitely.
just like Coruscant, like we got to see so much of the Senate and so much of Coruscant, and it's just so cool. I'm crazy about Coruscant, you know, like I
Yeah,
want to
you
see
love
everything
you love croissant. Okay, you love croissants.
Croissant.
You love croissant, okay? Yeah, it felt weird to look at Coruscant though, not in the prequels. No.
Yes, it had a whole different.
Yeah, you really associate Coruscant with the prequels, and then it's like in a different show.
Little water break.
Yeah, right. I'm not actually thirsty. I'm just drinking to look so
It's like
professional.
fun.
When you're gathering your thoughts. I saw somewhere that's why they do it. They put water there so that when they don't know what to say next, they take a sip and they're able to like think of what they're saying. And then they're like, okay, so as I was gonna say.
Oh, I see your 20th Lucasfilm animation poster behind you, and I'm like, ah.
Mwahaha. So, episode 1 year later, dun dun dun, Brasso dies.
Oh.
And then Andor's stuck on that moon thingamabob with
They were frustrating. Like the group of like whatever rebels, whatever.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was necessary just to show like not everybody is as smart and with it and knows what they're doing as like Luthen and the people who are working for him. There's people out there who want to fight against the Empire, and they're just a little bit.
That'd probably be you and me though, if I'm being completely honest.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
how
exactly how it would be.
it's giving like Lord of the Flies.
Yep, I've read that.
Okay.
Definitely.
A completely meaningless book. I don't know how much I got out of reading that. But I just felt bad. I'm like, Andrew, you're stuck with these people for like 3 episodes.
He's just like, ugh. I think he
Like,
aged
if you're
like
gonna be
10
captured,
years.
I'd want to be captured by somebody intelligent. Not know I'm being held against my will by a bunch of crazies. And then Brasso just died, like, in those 3 episodes.
Brasso was so sweet. And just like the look on Vix and Wilman and Andor's faces as they were flying away in the TIE fighter after he died, they're just like, what are we doing? Like, this is like absolutely like horrendous.
Oh great, here we go again. Thought they found their place. That was a cute shot though, with all of them in the ship. They were all really depressed, but... Oh yeah, Mon Mothma's wedding.
We're not. The wedding scene, that was fun. Like the dance scene. Dun.
yeah. It's like, have we ever seen people dance in Star Wars?
Not like that, definitely. But it was kind of crazy because you're like, Mon Mothma, like she usually is so like civilized and whatever, putting on this face for other people, but she's just like dancing away everything.
Yeah, she's like, oh, I'm at a party. So anyway, okay, with the rebels, okay, I'm at the party, dancing, yada yada. Anyway, so with the rebels and this and that. She's constantly jumping back and forth. Her daughter doesn't like her very much. But it's just interesting to see also that dynamic as well with the senator, how she's part of the rebellion, but even she's giving up so much for it, you know, just because like she's a senator, there's still things that get taken away. Like she doesn't have a very good relationship with her daughter anymore because she's worked so hard on the rebellion, or with her husband, or any of this world that she's in. The rebellion has taken up that space in her life. It's just so interesting to see her at the end of Andor, like alone, you know how we see her in Rogue One, A New Hope, and you know she had this whole life, this whole thing before that. She left it all to go do this thing. And then I forgot she had to become chancellor, remember?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Ow.
cute. That was cute. I need to rewatch everything because so much happened that my mind is still processing.
I wanted to go back and watch the whole thing before I watched the finale. It just came out
It was
so
a lot of
quickly I
hours.
didn't even have time.
Those are the next episodes, and we're going to Ghorman as a designer.
Ooh,
That's so fancy. No, I thought he looked cool as a designer.
Yeah, I love
It
his
was a look. He kept telling everybody like, well, I'm a designer, so. And he's like, well, I'm a designer, so like, I'm interested in this stuff. He loved playing the little.
I'm just a designer.
Yeah. They're like, dude, we didn't even ask you what you were. We don't care.
It's kind of fun because you can tell that in the rebellion they have fun when Luthen sends them out as different people. And like he came back, he told Bix. She was like, "Who were you?" And he was like, "Varian Skye."
I'm a designer. Oh my god, sorry you didn't get to play that for much longer, buddy.
I saw like an edit, like a Varian Skye edit.
Oh.
I'm a designer. I want to find it right now.
Yeah,
I know where it is.
That's essential for this. Find it. You are our only hope. Do we want to talk about Bix?
Bix? Like, she hadn't been through it enough. She's been through everything.
Literally everything.
It's
well,
like,
I'm a designer, so I'm gonna open up this text right here.
why didn't you take the dog out? But I'm a designer.
I'm a designer, so just answers all the questions. Whoa.
People die rushing. You have no idea who I am. You need to be more careful.
Oh my gosh!
My father's very proud.
And I can't wait to meet him. I'm just a designer. I'm curious. Let's start over. I'm just a designer. I'm curious.
That made my day. That did him justice.
Design.
Yeah, me and my dad were talking about that. We're like, he's all like, you just came up to my table. You don't even know who I am. I could be a spy. I could be a rebel. I could be imperialist. But you wouldn't know because you're just an amateur and I'm just a designer. And the lady's like, okay, I'll think about that.
Yeah. In episode 4, where were we?
Willman and Saw.
Interesting.
Of all the people Will should have been tangled up with, it had to be Saw. That is the worst pairing ever.
But he got through it, you know?
Thank goodness.
And then we had Syril on ghorman.
Now, before we get to that, though, as I'm looking at episode 6, everything is slowly coming back to me. How crazy that all was. What's-her-face died, and like they're
What
on
is her face?
Ghorman, and they're
I don't even
stealing
know.
the armory, guns and stuff, remember?
I don't even remember her name.
Yeah, me neither, and I feel bad because she's gone. I want to at least be able to say she's gone.
I never really like.
Yeah, I never latched onto those two.
I mean, that was just kind of, yeah.
They're stealing the guns. Simultaneously, they're at the party trying to get the thing out. And very stressful episode.
Yeah, that scene, she's just trying to get, like, the thing out, and then that, like, Lonnie, he always has that, like, terrified look on his face. Like, he always has a look on the face, like, somebody's coming after me. Well, they finally did. He's been scared this whole time, you know?
The Imperials should have been scared of Luthen. Real bummer. Rest in peace. He did a lot. He was in season 1, remember? So he's helped them a lot. I guess anybody that knows about the Death Star gets shot, whether you're an Imperial or a Rebel.
How it goes.
I'm not, like, justifying it or anything, but yeah, like, he did see every single file on the Death Star. That's a pretty big risk you're taking keeping this guy alive, considering he would do anything just to keep himself safe.
All these people working and building the Death Star, they've got to keep him very contained. How is that not slipping out? Crazy to me.
How did you keep it a secret for so long? It seems like the thing with Galen Erso sending the pilot out is such a big deal. They're like, oh my gosh, he sent somebody out with the secrets and this and that, right? This hasn't happened before. I mean, they blew up Jeddah. People were already starting to figure out what the Kyber crystals were for, so they blew that up. They blew up the research base that was with all the engineers for the Death Star. So it seems like they kind of do the work they need to do and then just blow up the place and all the people that worked on it in that area.
Yeah.
You're right, like why...
People coming in and out, you know.
It's everything with the Death Star is sort of a need-to-know basis. So even all the people that are working on it don't know the full scale of it. They just think like, oh, I need to mine Kyber crystals for something. Or I need to work on this thing for something. It's really only like Palps and Vader that are looking out the window on the Death Star. They're seeing the whole thing and its grandiosity.
We got a cool shot of Krennic in front of the Death Star at the very end, though.
Very well needed.
Krennic in his cape. He's just not like any other Imperial, and I think he's so funny.
In his own very, like, serious, you know, suspicious sort of way, and then he gets, like, super angry. You're not scared of him like you are Thrawn. You know, you hear Thrawn's voice and you're like... He has this essence to him. They definitely expanded very well on his character.
Yes.
In season 2. Was he in much of season 1?
I don't think he was there at all.
Like, I remember everybody making, like, such a big deal. Krennic's back, Krennic's back. Yeah, but in one
I didn't
season...
understand what they were saying, because I was like, why would I really care about Krennic? Like, he's just some rando Imperial.
Me too. I was like, oh, I kind of remember that guy, but he died, right? So why is he even important? That was a festive evening.
Oh, yes. What a swell party this is.
Yeah, and he's like, oh, this is... And then Mon Mothma's all trying to, like, throw some stuff in there without going a little too far. She's like, yeah, like, you kind of killed a whole bunch of people, you know.
And then Bix and Cassian blow up Dr. Gorst, which was just, like, just perfect, just what Bix needed. Like, I don't know if Luthen set that up. I don't know if, like, Cassian's like, let's go do this because this is what you need. That was just perfect. And all the episodes after that, she's, like,
fine,
normal.
yeah.
She's good. Like, it fixed her. That was literally, like, just what she needed. And they blew up his whole operation.
That was so nice at the end, you know, how everything came together. I think Luthen set it up for him. The shot we see before Bix goes and kills a guy, they're saying the light's blinking, right? And then, remember, Endor got all mad, like, oh, you know, you're messing with Bix and stuff, you know? So that's why I'm like, well, Luthen does care, because he did that for them. He's like, alright, you want to go blow up the guy. It'll make you feel better. But yeah, and the guy was carrying, like, a little box of, like, I don't even know what that was, like, takeout food or something.
No, I think it was, like, a little pastry. I watched this, like,
yeah,
video.
like a little cookie.
I don't know if he was trying to give it to somebody, he was trying to eat it, but...
Yeah. They went live the other day, the Tony Gilroy and all them. Tony was saying that nobody wanted to put the cookie in, and he wanted the cookie, and he's like, yeah, I fought real hard for that cookie. And I'm like, hey, that's so crazy, because I remember the cookie was the first thing I noticed, and I thought, I just started cracking up, like, why does this guy have a cookie? This guy's, like, torturing people. There's been a lot of scientists. I mean, Hemlock, the greatest of them all.
But they all don't have a good fate.
Yeah, none of them do. They all die. Moral of the story, Alexis, never be a scientist. And then we did it the same way too. We watched 7 and 8, and then we waited like a day or 2 days to watch 9, which I feel like is almost good because Ghorman is its own thing. And then the Mon Mothma thing, almost it feels separate. It doesn't feel like a continuation of Ghorman. The shot of Endor like stretching his shoulder at the beginning of that episode, I was like, me every morning.
No, yeah, actually though, like as soon as I wake up, like,
ouch. Slept wrong or something.
Yavin, like their house on Yavin, I think it was cool.
I think of the randomest things. But like, man, there's a front door, there's so many windows. Wouldn't you think like there's spiders or bugs? It seems like a very spidery insect sort of planet, you know?
Maybe they have like some really fancy bug zappers in that galaxy.
But I love the little hut. It's like so perfect. I love the color palette for it.
Yeah. Watching like the declassified thing. Yeah, it was kind of just talking about their house and kind of its mix of everything of like Ferrix, Aldani, like all the experiences, you know? Yeah.
It even has like it's like a lot of orange incorporated in it, which I feel like that has also been a big color of the show. Oranges, browns, a lot of those warmer tones. Ferrix was a thing that happened.
And I forgot that, like, Wilman, I was like, who is Wilman? But then I realized that he's the one who threw the bomb and, like, who started everything. So I'm like, oh my goodness, this guy's, like, he threw, like, the first bomb on Ferrix that he, like, built.
Oh, yeah, he built the bomb. Yeah, okay. Yeah, because me too, I was like, I feel like this guy's important. I feel like we've seen him before, but I remember nothing of his life.
But that's him, yeah.
I like how Andrew's like, you've been going on to Ghorman, like, how could you, and this and that, and then 5 minutes later he's like, I'm going to with Wilman to Ghorman, everybody. Just want everybody to know, I am going with him to Ghorman.
And then they're on Ghorman, and then that happened on Ghorman, that thing.
Ghorman was there until it wasn't.
And then it wasn't. You knew it was gonna happen the whole time, and you were just like,
You see it all happening. It's more than your mind could have ever imagined it looking like. And then things are already so bad, and then the droids come out, and then they get that shot of the droids with the fire behind them. I'm like, whew, like,
They just
to
can't
be
stop.
there, growing people, like, you see how strong these droids are. Oh my gosh.
They're crazy KX
They're just
units.
flying like flies or something.
And then my fave, Syril, he died.
Your favorite. Oh, suddenly he's your favorite.
Syril on top. No, I don't know.
All hail our glorious Syril.
But the fact that like he was even a match for Andor in a fight was kind of like threw both of us off. Why is this guy like kind of winning in a fight? The fight was like Andor went through it. Like he got like whacked with a stool. I'm like, this guy, like he's like
Brutal. It was so brutal. Dude, really, Andor beat up this guy, okay? He's got nothing on you. Kill him. They brought like Andor's experience down and Cyril's like dramatically up to where they were somehow a match.
maybe Syril got like training, but like really, can he be that good? I don't know. I just feel like Syril is not that good.
What has he done his entire life? Sat at a desk.
He's counted stuff.
Well, he counted stuff.
He counts. That's what he does for a living. Like this guy, and then he's like, this is Cassian Andor. Like he's supposed to.
The Cassian. But like at the end when Andor's like, who are you, right? And Cyril's like, are you kidding me? Really? Felt bad for Syril in that department, you know. The Empire used him to get a job done. But at the same time, when he hears Andor say that, it's as if his life had no significance. He's like, what have I lived for?
Yeah, he's always wanted to do something important.
Yeah, to be something, you know? And it's like you came and went from the galaxy and nobody even noticed.
Yeah, and that was all just him trying to not have Dedra be shot. But I'm like,
He got her by the throat.
that was a little bit of a shock. I mean, just like Dedra and Syril. Like, I just did not expect that.
It's crazy because Dedra at the same time, she cares about him, but she's also using him for the Empire, you know? You know, he finally wakes up and he's like, oh, okay, you know, and it all kind of makes sense, and I guess that's why he gets so mad. It's like, oh, I've been asleep this whole time, haven't I? And you guys are just taking advantage of it.
Yeah, and that's tough for him.
Syril came, Syril went, and we're gonna remember that for him.
Scenes where they were having dinner or whatever with Cyril's mom, and like Dedra smiled. I was kind of terrified when Dedra smiled. I'm like, why is she smiling?
I was
This
like,
is
that looks like
unheard
a
of.
psycho sort of smile, not a kind smile.
He gave Cyril's mom like.
She laid it down. She laid down the law. And how Cyril stares like so dramatically, right? And then it's just like the chopstick or the forks or something was slightly crooked.
Yes, ripping her like soup skewer all over their table. That's so funny. And then Dedra's like, I was raised in an Imperial kinder block.
I was raised in Imperial block.
Yeah, now Dedra, where...
That's what you get, you know?
Yeah.
I feel like with Dedra too, she closed when it comes to, you know, like expressing how she feels. But it's interesting that I noticed throughout this series, she uses the dark as a way to let out whatever she's feeling. Because every time the lights go out, something goes on, you know? And even in the prison too, she's just like sitting there very calm and like, and then the lights go out and you just hear her, you know, she feels safer there, you know, to express what she feels.
Observation. We left off at Ghorman. K2.
I love that guy. He's like if introverts actually said what they feel, you know? He's like, well, I don't like you, so can you leave, please? Thank you.
This is so random too, but I like Cassian's little bun. His little...
I knew it. I was like, she's gonna have something to say about that look. I don't know, I wasn't a huge fan of it. I was not a huge fan of his haircut that he got at the last 3 episodes. I know they have to match it with Rogue One, but come on.
I mean, yeah, it wasn't like great, but like his usual, like, whatever. I think they did a good job, like making him look younger, kind of.
Yeah. No, and I was like watching Rogue One last night. I was like, dude, you look the same. The last 3 episodes.
Oh, we forgot like Mon Mothma and the listening device in her place. And
Oh,
her
yeah,
speed.
no, we didn't go on about that. Yeah. Oof. Her assistant guy, the whole drama with him.
I just thought it was cool because I felt like all the rebels or whatever that had kind of like been in separate places, they're all coming together now, and that was really cool to see.
Yeah. And you know, it's weird because you've been seeing Mon Mothma and Andor and everybody in their own worlds for so long, and then Mon Mothma's like, who are you? Like, I'm Andor. It's like, oh
like,
yeah, you guys have never met. Oh,
Yeah,
I
it's like,
forgot.
wait, like...
Every time they talk about, like, it's her and Bale and they talk about the Senate, I just think about Padme. How he's like, I'm gonna stay here one more year. I'm like, oh yeah, because he promised Padme. Held that promised to her for so long, you know, and now Mon Mothma's like finally breaking it, you know. And they're like, what would have happened if Mon and Bail hadn't stayed in the Senate? So much would be different, you know, and just to think, trace that back all the way to Padme. At least in the prequels, there's this tight-knit group of drama between these 3 or 4 or 5 people, like Obi-Wan, Anakin, Padme, Palps, you know. Really nobody knows about the whole drama between these 5 people, but these 5 people impacted so much of the future. Even Kenobi going off with Luke, like that spurs into its whole own thing. Padme, you know, doing this with Bail and Organa that now, or no, Bail and, Mon. Now you see the way that, even that string made its branches and all of that, that's affected too.
Yeah, it's crazy how much few people can, like, affect this whole galaxy.
I was watching Rogue One. Andor and Jyn are kind of the reason that they were able to blow up the Death Star, but I'm like, no, it was so many other people. It was Jyn's dad. Had he not even placed the weakness in the Death Star, he built it. So without him, there would be nothing. Without Luke taking that final shot, there would be nothing, you know? But then all this stuff with Andor, it's like, if none of this happened,
without Lonnie or whatever.
New Hope.
Yeah, without Luthen deciding to, Luthen and Kleya, like, it's just so many things, how it just all lines up.
And they all, like, contributed so much to that end. Like, now when you see the Death Star destroyed or Luke takes that shot, it's like, so much happened for that one moment to be there. You know, it's not just a moment, it's all of these people's lives. You know, a lot of them even died before they got to see this end. That moment of the shot into the reactor is so much like a relief. You know, you just know how much went into making that all happen.
Yeah, because, like, just watching the movie, you can be like, oh, wow, cool. This just makes it so much deeper and bigger. Yeah.
It's just great to see everything come together in its way, you know, and Mona's escaping and she's like, oh my god, Andor, you killed my driver!
What's his name? What's the driver's name? Like, Clovis?
Yeah, well,
No, it's not
what's your
Clovis.
driver's name? It was something with a C.
Clovis
Clovis
is that other guy.
We don't speak of Alexis.
Who's Clovis? What? Chloris. Kloris. Chloris.
Cloris,
He's like,
get over
Chloris,
here.
Chloris,
We
we
need
found
you.
you.
And she's like, oh my god, how you just killed my driver? She's like, oh my god, you killed that guy too. You're just killing people. Welcome to the rebellion.
And then they all just go and hang out, like, in that safe house together, like, just some of the Empire's biggest targets all together in this little apartment, just hanging out, you know.
And it's on Coruscant, for crying out loud. Like, they're looking everywhere in the galaxy for these, like, 10 people, and they're all in this tiny apartment. I think even Dedra brought that up, you know, when they were looking for them. She's like, the whole time, Luthen's been on Coruscant, like
hanging out with these people who he's fighting against.
Did it really well, you know, Luthen, all those protocols that they have, I mean, they paid off. Taken them years to find Luthen. You know, they do the whole weather channel thing, like this is the, you know, even what they would saying into the locked-in comm system, like, even if this does get found or somebody's listening in, even what we're saying doesn't even make any sense. Like, all these things really airtight, this whole operation.
Yeah, they had it all planned. I just think it's cool the position that Luthen put himself in. How do you get to be near the people, all these high up Imperials? Oh, you could be like servant or something like that, or like a very low down Imperial, but that wouldn't invite you to the parties. And how do you get up to their level, but not actually by being in the Empire? Crazy antiques or whatever, but that's like a really cool way to like get up there with the important people, but not like be one of them. I thought that was really cool.
I didn't even think of that, but you're so right. Even the character that he plays is so perfect, you know. And you're right, he needs to be up there with all these high up officers. You know, how do you do that? And I thought it was so crazy. He's locked this in so tightly, he doesn't even have to fake his name. You know, he's like, yeah, I'm Luthen, right? There's zero suspicion when you mention his name.
Yeah. In his, like, shop, it was kind of cool. He had some of Padme's. Did you see, like, her thing?
The headdress, yeah. Well, he had the one from Phantom Menace, too. He had the Attack of the Clones and the Phantom Menace one.
How are you getting these things?
I know you're gonna die soon, and you have my condolences. But, can I have your shop?
I'm wondering maybe, like, Bail or something gave him some of her stuff? I don't even know.
Maybe.
Like, you gotta fill this shop and make it seem legit. So, like, here's some stuff.
Clothes mask?
Oh, yeah. What? How do you get that?
The fact that he has all these crazy... I mean, he had pieces from the temple, from Lethal. Those pieces.
Because that's a whole job in itself. And then he's also leading this whole operation. I don't even know how. He must have had some help. Maybe he had some people who were just like, I don't know, like, here's a lead on how to get some cool art for your shop. Like, that even all helps to build the rebellion.
But you just see how much stress this guy was under, like all the things he had to manage all at once, you know, hiding, maintaining the shop, because you actually have to sell things in that shop. Yeah, I mean, let's hit back to that last episode, you know.
Now let's
wrap it up.
Series up.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, and like Luthen dies, and then they even give the whole backstory with Luthen and
Kleya,
thank you. Yeah, their whole thing too was just kind of cute, you know?
Yeah. When Dedra came in Luthen's shop, she brought the Star Path unit.
That was crazy.
So that was like a cool connection or whatever.
Yeah, and she was acting like so nice and this and that. I'm like, oh, I didn't know you were capable of acting like a normal human being.
I feel like she should have gone about it a little bit differently. She's a little bit overconfident and thinks she's like a little bit like...
Well, after you orchestrate something like the Ghorman massacre,
you're pretty good.
Not that good. You know, she does want the glory. She wants the fame. If she didn't, she would have asked for reinforcements. She would have done it in a more professional way, like you're saying. Like, she just didn't go about it right. But she didn't want to tell anybody because she's like, you know, I want this to be my own thing. To know I captured this guy. She went about it in very much the wrong way because she wanted to do it alone and
we see where that puts her.
And then it's weird. Like, you've done so many horrible things, Dedra, and yet you get arrested for going after like Axis or whatnot without telling anybody.
It doesn't click. It was cool seeing Kleya, how capable she is when she went into the hospital and stuff.
They're looking at the camera, they're like, this wasn't a crew, this was one girl. Great.
They're like, wait, if one girl can do this, we're cooked. Yeah, and then they come back to that apartment. That was great. That other ISB agent who kind of like took over.
Whoa. Wishy-washy.
Yeah, well, we know what happened to him.
Killed him off just like that. Okay. The suspense of the apartment, you know, them running, and then you know, like, if they're gonna be trapped in their apartment, there's no way out of there.
But then Kay, we see his value.
I assume any doubts about my value have been erased.
It made the sad demise of K2, yes, last night, that much more impactful. I was like,
it was episode 11 that ended off and they were in the apartment, and I was like, I was gonna go to sleep after that because it was like late. Okay, I have to turn it off, but I was like, no, I just need to make sure they get out of here. I just watched like 5 minutes of the last episode. They have to get out.
The whole time I was like, okay, they're stuck in this apartment. Somehow, A, they need to get out. B, they need to go back to Yavin. C, they need to figure out stuff about the desk. Like, how are they going to wrap this up in one last episode? It feels like we need more right now.
I know. I didn't understand that either. I was like, wait, how are there only like 40 minutes left? A lot's got to happen, I feel like. But it felt like slow too, but like, I don't know, it all fit somehow.
Yeah, Endor going back, Yavin and everybody's in there. Their Rogue One looks... Yeah, everybody's kind of getting ready, I guess. That's what that last episode is getting ready for the thing with Rogue One, you know? And I like how when Kaz is walking out after that, he looks at the Force healer lady and he gives like a little nod.
At first I was like, where is it going with this Force lady person? But like, yeah, she kind of made sense, you know?
No, he is a messenger.
Yeah. And then the screen turns black. And it's over. That's Endor.
There's Endor Jr. It doesn't just go black. Who knows? This kid could go fight the First Order or whatnot. I don't know. That was a cute, like, hopeful ending like we were talking about. You know, it's just a hopeful way to end this not too hopeful ending for a show.
Yes, but every second of Endor.
Overall rating, Alexis. Let's hear it.
I don't know the number. I'm not like smart enough to...
It's like the Googleplex.
Decamillion, billion, trillion, billion.
So you would rate it an unknown number. What was your favorite episode?
9.
Mine is 10, yeah.
Yes, we got Coruscant, and yes, it was great. So I liked that one, everything coming together. What was your favorite episode?
It's so hard not to say, I'm a designer.
Is that the favorite quote from the show?
Yeah, favorite quote, I'm a designer. I will use that forever. But yeah, I have to say number 9. I mean, seeing everybody come together too, you know, in that way.
It was really cool.
All the branches coming together. It was just a crazy episode. Literally went to sleep paralyzed. I'm like, Dad, I cannot move after what I just saw right now.
Actually, just like stare. After every single episode though, like when the screen would turn black, like I'd be like, no, this isn't the end, and then the names would come out and like
There's gonna be a shot after this little black thing, right, Matt? Yeah.
And then favorite song, Niamos. I don't even know if that's like the official name, but like
Who knows how you pronounce it?
that beat. They've done all different Niamos versions all throughout the show. Like they did one when he was in like the bar in the beginning, and then when he was at that like beach place where he got captured and
Oh, really? Oh, that's so cool. So they've been playing this. This is a reoccurring.
always in my head. Just
Second favorite character for you? Unless there is a
well, I mean-
character other than Endor that is your favorite character.
Mon Mothma. What about you?
I'd say Bix. Like, I really like her whole dynamic. Like, she's not a damsel in distress, let's say that, you know. She is, like, very caring, very nice, you know. She's, like, let's just say Ahsoka ain't the most compassionate person ever. She's like, suck it up, we're going to battle. Bix is more, like, more understanding. Then she balances that off, of course, with, like, how she is able to take care of herself, you know. But it's a tight with her and Luthen.
He's cool too. Yeah, Bix has come really far.
But Luthen, my dad doesn't know his name, so he calls him the wig guy.
The
He's
wig-
like, oh yeah, the wig guy died.
And your mom calling Endor Endor.
Yeah, it's like right after Celebration. She's like, oh yeah, we kind of saw a little bit of that, you know, that they showed, like the Endor thing. I'm like, Endor, what are you talking about? Like, Endor, the new show. And I'm like, there is no new show called Endor. What are you talking about? Do you know something I don't? Endor with the guy, Diego. Oh my god, help me.
At least you put in the effort to like.
Yeah, what would you say your favorite planet is? Because we did visit a lot of planets.
I just realized that this guy's been behind me this whole time. Like, why didn't you tell me?
Yeah, like I've been feeling intimidated this entire time.
Favorite planet is still Coruscant.
Other than Coruscant, it was Ghorman.
It was kind of cool, like the French, like cool. Did you have like a favorite planet?
I liked the planet where Mon lived.
Chandrila.
Oh yeah, Chandrila. Looked like the weather would be fine there. It didn't look like it snowed or it was intense hot summers.
And then obviously Yavin is cool.
A little too.
I just don't like the rain, so it looked like it rained a lot.
It looks like a humid sort of place.
But it does look nice too.
I wouldn't mind if they gave me like a little bungalow there.
A favorite costume?
I'm a designer. That's all I'm gonna say.
Mon Mothma's.
I like the one that she wears at the party. Hers looked more comfortable, let's just say, than Padme's.
They've come a little farther there.
They've come a little farther, designer-wise, you know.
And then, you know, just Krennic's cape, you know. And I always think that, like, Bix's outfits, like, they seem, like, very much like something, like, that you could just
Put
wear.
together, yeah. On
Like-
a regular basis, just wear it.
Rub
They're
it.
simple, and you know, like, I can make a cosplay of this, but then walk around town with this. Now, I think I'm gonna get it cut out, because I can't stare at Aiden anymore. Like,
Are you actually?
in my mind, who do I get? We love Andor so much now, you know?
Yeah, but-
Anyway, that was a nice little in-depth analysis. Inhale the energy of Andor and how it's...
That was Andor. We soaked it in.
Mr. Tony Gilroy severely
Yeah.
traumatized us.
Thank you, Tony Gilroy.
Tony.
And your bros,
I do
too.
want to tell you, you've earned your spot among the greats.
And
Among
that
the
was
greats.
Andor.
There's an era. We love Andor.
Goodbye there.
It's the Ferrix.
Stone and Skye.
We're designers. So, bye-bye. Have a great day. May the force be with you.